This is episode 78 of Pinnacle FC. Gareth Wheeler, Jake Osgathorpe with you. A little bonus upcoming later on this episode. It's Super Bowl week, and that is the real focus. On top of all the other football that's going to be played this week, Jake and I will have our say at the end of this podcast. Jake is coming in hot, by the way, episode 76, I guess, because we had a Champions League one last week. Or no, the Champions League one was before. Episode 77 was a good one for Jake, over 2 units of profit last weekend. And if I could just get my best bets board in line, then things would be going great as well. But the dogs were barking last week in the Premier League. Will they bark again this weekend? I'm off the dogs, really, this weekend. But last week was a good one in the Premier League, including Spurs. I told you, Jake, Spurs against City. No matter the form, no matter what's going on at the club, Spurs just come away with results against Man City. It's like clockwork. So that was good to see. Follow along on social media, on X, at Pinnacle, and our Reddit, the subreddit page, Pinnacle Sportsbook. Get involved. Please like and subscribe this podcast. It helps us just make sure that we get in the proper algos and that more people have access to this podcast as well. Do you say algos in Manchester, Jake? No?
You're not cool enough, unfortunately.
I'm definitely not cool enough. I don't know if saying algo is cool to begin with, but probably not. What are you more excited about? Your picks in place on this episode or the Super Bowl and casting a keen eye towards that?
Definitely my picks and plays. Oh yeah. Some really good bets this week. Some huge fancies. Some good prices, but yeah, the Super Bowl. It's just a nice little roundup of the weekend, isn't it? For us anyway. It's right at the end of the Sunday. Stay up late, catch a bit of that, and I'm not going to tell you who I think is going to win just yet. You have to wait till the end of the show.
I'm going to be up early watching the Super Bowl as I'm off to Las Vegas this weekend. And if you've never done Super Bowl in Vegas, you got to get there. It's an absolute blast. It's a great sports weekend as well, with all the college basketball in play, Waste Management, the Phoenix Open, and of course, all the soccer and football as well. So it's just a brilliant weekend to be there. So I'm just going to be waking up and watching the Super Bowl, and it'll come at the end of your day for where you are in the UK. We'll get to all that in a few moments' time. Anything else to address before we dive in on this week's episode?
No, let's get stuck in. I mean, the Premier League board is some big games, isn't there? Man United, Spurs, Liverpool, City. I don't know if you want to start with the latter, because that's the sort of headline marquee game, isn't it?
Let's do that. Let me just say this. All the markets that we use, obviously, are courtesy of Pinnacle. It is a much more calm week. Where really there's standalone fixtures this weekend. Next week there are midweek Premier League games to keep an eye on, but the preparation for the matches this week much more straightforward. I know there's been EFL Cup semifinals this week. Arsenal are already through. We're not sure what's happening between City and Newcastle as we're recording this podcast before that game takes place. So let's dive in. With all due respect to United Spurs, Liverpool City is the marquee fixture this weekend, just based upon the players, the clubs, and their recent success and all that stuff. Liverpool's coming in off a high, a 4-1 victory over Newcastle last weekend. But in fairness, Liverpool were fine. Ekitike has been a good signing for them, but Newcastle were dross. They were really poor in that game. And City coughed up a 2-0 lead away at Spurs to come away with a 2-2 draw ahead of their EFL Cup tie on Wednesday. How are you looking at this match, Jake? Is this going to finally indicate maybe a little bit of a turn of form for Liverpool? They've flirted with it from time to time, but it seems like it's, one step forward, 2 steps back for them. And Man City haven't been all that consistent either. They went on a string of undefeated games, which almost reached double digits, and now it just kind of looks like they're stuck in second gear. So what do you make of this fixture, the timing of it, and who might you favor heading into it?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game because I don't think either of these teams can be trusted, really. They've not shown us enough consistency in performance, in results to get either of them on side. And it's not the game of yesteryear, is it, where you had two Titans battling out for the title. It's very much Liverpool sort of middling and Manchester City almost sort of pretenderish, if you like. I mean, they had a great opportunity last week, 2-0 up at half-time away at Tottenham to get another 3 points, keep the pressure on Arsenal, and that second half performance was so bad, especially if when you factor in Spurs' injury issues. Obviously, Romero goes off at half-time as well, which only weakens them. So, I have no interest.
Have they diagnosed him as being ill? Like I think he's sick. I think he'll be back this weekend. Van de Ven, touch and go, but he could be back as well. Just worth mentioning. But that certainly affected them. And you're right, it was a missed opportunity for City, really. That's what it comes down to.
Exactly, and that's been the kind of story of their Premier League season in 2026. They've won just one of their 6 Premier League games this calendar year, which is quite staggering, really. I mean, the only results they've had, whether they've won Exeter 10-1, obviously, in the FA Cup. They went to Newcastle in the first leg of the Carabao Cup. They beat Wolves at home and then beat Galatasaray at home. The rest of the games they've not won. Sunderland, Chelsea, Brighton, Man United obviously lost the derby, Spurs. So yeah, they're just not trustworthy at all. And as I've been banging the drum every single week now, like, this is Arsenal's title. Really, they're the most consistent team. They've got the team with the highest floor. And yeah, City, you can see them going into every game, and I can see a way in which they lose, because I just think they've got such a soft underbelly compared to recent years. Even with the new additions of Guehi and Semenyo. And away from home, they even less so. I want to get them on side. It's 3 games without a win away from home in the league. If you stretch it back a little bit further, you've also got defeats at Villa, defeats at Newcastle. But at the same time, Liverpool at plus 139 is just too short, given their injury crisis, their issues, and just how inconsistent they've been. But I'm looking at the total. My initial thought was, right, I'm going to play the over here at 3. But I might be leaning the other way, just based on the fact that Liverpool's games against the better teams this season have been very low scoring. And by the looks of you pointing down, I'm suggesting you're on the same thought path here with under 3 goals at minus 106.
4 of their last 5 games have played to under 2.5, and the only game that went over was, earlier this season, and it ended City 3, Liverpool 0. I just think that when these two teams play, they put on the handbrake to a certain degree. I think that the under is the only way to play this. A little bit surprised with Konaté coming back into the team last weekend, which kind of threw things off a little bit in terms of the Newcastle side of things. But he's in. Good to see him get through a very difficult time for him and his family personally. But I think what we've seen is when they put Szoboszlai at right back, they play a little bit more safe, a little bit more guarded. Liverpool do, just in terms of the way they play defensively. Pep against Liverpool, it's just I feel like they need a win, but they almost played not to lose, especially when they go to Anfield. And with the team not, brimming with confidence, and the fact they do have a midweek game, I think that handbrake will be being pumped to a certain degree. If 3 goals are scored in this game, it's a push. You get your money back. So there's only one way to go under, and it's at a decent enough number at minus 106 as well, Jake. So that would be my play. I have no problem making that a full unit play, but it will not be making my board. I like other plays better, but if I'm going to make a bet for this game, it's going to be under 3 at minus 106.
100%, yeah. And it's probably gone against the grain, really, since Slot took over. That Liverpool's games at Anfield have been very low scoring. Last season it was a regular play of mine, backing against Liverpool goals, and this season just 2 of their 12 home games have gone over 3.5 goals. So this bet would have only lost in 2 of 12. One of those being last time out against a Newcastle team that just don't travel very well at all. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a tight cagey game. I'm with you there on the under.
Okay, yeah, you wanted to address Manchester United and Spurs. It's the first fixture of the Saturday slate. United, are they back? 3 wins in a row. Has anyone checked on the lad with the hair? He's waiting until they win 5 in a row. That's going to be a big news story if they can do it. They take on Spurs this weekend, and Spurs have really done well against United, just like they've done it well against City in recent vintage as well. But United 3 games on the trot against 3 good teams as well in Arsenal, in City, and Fulham last weekend. Fulham are a really good side. They impressed me. Fulham had a goal called back last weekend, by the way. I still don't know how it was offside. Like, I legitimately think that Fulham were a little bit unlucky, but it seems like United. I don't even think it's the Carrick effect. It's like the anyone but Amorim effect. Minus 160 favorites against Spurs this weekend. Are you backing United?
No. No, I'm
Me
not.
neither. Me neither.
Now ask me if I'm back in Spurs.
Are you backing Spurs?
No, I'm not. No, again, it goes a similar kind of thought path to the Liverpool City game in the sense of I just don't think either of these teams can be trusted in a confidently in a 1x2 or a handicap market. And yeah, the goal line is where I'm going to be heading, and rather than taking the under, I'm going to take the over. It is getting hammered in the over, so the line set at 3. When I started doing my notes yesterday, it was minus 110. It's now minus 117. So it won't be long before the line moves up a quarter of a goal. And I think we have to back it now at 3 because United, they're defensively still exceptionally vulnerable. But their attack is one of the best in the league. And the underlying data kind of says as much. They're second in terms of expected goals created this season.
Wild.
Which is wild. But you're seeing even more attacking intent now that Amorim's gone because he's got more forward players in more dangerous areas. I mean, just pushing Fernandes further up the pitch helps straight away. And Sesko getting a goal, getting the winner off the bench is going to do him the world of good for his confidence. I think that United are going to score at least 2, maybe 3 here again against Tottenham. And Spurs, they had that weird game against Manchester City. Not too sure what to make of it, but they did look a lot more dynamic in forward areas in that second half. The link-up play was really good. For this bet, I really hope Solanke's fit because he makes a huge difference.
That's a kicker. Watch that news.
Yeah, he is. He's more likely to play than not at the moment, according to all the stuff that I'm reading. But yeah, he's a handful, and he brings other players into play. And he took his goal, little scorpion kick, brilliant. They did in last week. But yeah, Spurs, they've just got no defensive stability whatsoever either. And I think I'm hoping that Thomas Frank's kind of flipped the switch and just gone, right, well, if I'm going to lose every week, I might as well lose trying to play good football. Which is why their games have gone crazy for goals recently. Obviously 3-2 defeat at Bournemouth, 2-1 defeat to West Ham, and then back-to-back 2-2 draws. So wouldn't be at all surprised to see something similar here. The total at 3 is where I'd be looking. Unfortunately, the United team total is nowhere near backable, but that would have been a preferable play.
Yeah. If Solanke plays, go figure. If you actually play with an actual number 9, it could mean good things for you. And Solanke's a good player. Spurs on the handicap +1 at minus 114. It's staring me down. No play for me. United wins when I don't make a play on their game, so let's keep that trend going. Elsewhere in the Premier League, what else is catching your eye this weekend?
The Wolves-Chelsea game. I'm going to take the under. It's 2 3/4 minus 104. I've mentioned it many times on the show now. Wolves' defensive data is excellent. They were at it again last week. I know they lost 2-0 to Bournemouth, but it was just around 1.3 expected goals conceded. They're averaging around 1.1 expected goals per game since Rob Edwards took charge. And yeah, Chelsea, I mean, anybody who watched that Carabao Cup second leg, I don't know if it was a game plan or if they just looked that bad going forward, but they really look toothless and lacking ideas. And I know they've got a couple of injuries, especially in defence, which won't help either. But fortunately for them, Wolves cannot score goals. So yeah, unders looks good. If I was to go for a long shot, I would chance maybe a Chelsea win to 0, but I've got no confidence in Chelsea at this moment.
Nope, me neither. Just a game I'm completely swerving, not touching it. I was hoping that there was that maybe Wolves +1 on the handicap was available, but at +3/4, not going there. Okay, I actually really like the slate in the Premier League this weekend. I'll just let you take the lead here. Perhaps Friday, Leeds United. See that right there? Leeds United, Nottingham Forest. Any interest in getting involved for the Friday fixture? Because I'm going to back Leeds for a big bounce back here against Nottingham Forest. Bad day at the office against Arsenal. They were played off the pitch, but they never got into their rhythm. They conceded the early goals. Go figure, off corner kicks, and they just couldn't work their way back into the game. Arsenal away, take an early lead by 2 goals. They just completely suffocate you. So I'm not holding that against Leeds. Their data as a home side still speaks for itself, especially against poor away sides. That's exactly what Nottingham Forest are. They're a poor away side. Nottingham Forest are among the bottom teams in expected point totals in the Premier League in their away travels. They've won 4 games, but their data is just miserable. Only less than 10 expected goals for, and over 20, nearly 21 expected goals against. That could be big problems when you're going to Ellen Road and playing a team like Leeds in a really good bounce back spot. At plus 123, it's a must play for me. And let's get the party started early on Friday. Last week I was barking with the dogs. I can't do it this weekend. I like home favorites, and I think that you're getting some real value with Fulham playing Everton as well. Fulham at plus 114 it's a great number. I thought it was maybe going to be on the other side of even money. It's not, and I get this while you can. At times in the second half, and Fulham has shown this over the season, they're a second half team. Pro second half plays with Fulham have been absolute money. And they just come on. They have great depth in their team, really good attacking depth, players that can come on and change a game. Everton were very lucky scoring at the death against a very average Brighton side last week. Back-to-back away games is a difficult spot. Going to Craven Cottage against a Fulham side, I mentioned it earlier. They had a goal chalked off against Manchester United. I have no idea how the goal wasn't given. I stared at the lines that I still don't understand how the player was offside in that moment. I think you're getting great value backing a better side in Fulham at home. Another bounce back spot for them at plus 114. This one is absolutely making my board this week. Anything else, Jake?
I was going to be talking about how I liked Villa on the handicap at Bournemouth, but the price is just...
Can't do it.
It's just gone it was minus 111. It's now into minus 120. So we are touching on a territory where the line is going to move up.
What's happening with Ollie Watkins? Like, I just last week against Brentford, it didn't come off. Brentford was down to 10 men for the majority of that game, and just the midfield injuries are concerning with Villa. If Watkins isn't available up front, I'm sorry, any combination of Sancho, Leon Bailey, it just doesn't do it for me. I think that this is a good time to start fading Aston Villa. And all of a sudden, Bournemouth have rolled off, 4 wins in a row? Like, there's been significant change in this team. They lose Semenyo, but the recruitment continues to absolutely be top-notch. And I think that there's some value to back Bournemouth. In fairness, it's not going to make my board, but Bournemouth on a draw no bet at plus 108 seems to be a decent enough play for me against Villa away from home, especially if Ollie Watkins isn't available, Jake. I mean, he's one of the... But Abraham is not Watkins. I mean, it's Rodgers and Watkins that have really paced this team this year.
Yeah, I think whoever plays, I fancy Villa to get a result just because I think this is a good matchup for them. They've really struggled in recent matches against Everton and Brentford because they've turned up and played a deep block, and it's been difficult for them to break those teams down. And we know Bournemouth aren't going to play like that. They're going to provide the space that Villa need to progress the ball, whether it's by passing or by driving with the ball like Sir Rodgers. And yeah, ultimately, I think that's going to lead to a very positive result for Villa. Get back on track because, yeah, I don't think it's a surprise that their recent wobbles have come against sides that have just almost been like, right, well, come on, break us down. I mean, even Arsenal, they lost to Arsenal. I know Arsenal are top of the table, but they're not exactly like, they're quite happy to sit and defend. Crystal Palace away, very much the same in that game when they were trying to stop that rot. So, yeah, there is a trend, and you only have to look at the recent head-to-heads between these managers. I mean, Unai Emery's got Iraola's number. The last 4 they've played, 3 wins for Villa, 1 draw. And I think it's 9 goals scored, 1 conceded, 2 conceded in those 4 games. So whatever Unai Emery does, Iraola just can't figure out how to stop it.
Okay, I look at Bournemouth since the end of the year. They drew Chelsea. The only loss that they suffered was at home. 3-2 loss to Arsenal. Other than that, beat Spurs, coming off a win against Wolves, beat Liverpool at home. I think this team's just in a really good spot, and I understand all that, but again, the midfield injuries and the threat of potentially not having Ollie Watkins, that's enough for me to back the home side. We can make this a head-to-head, just up both on the draw, no bets both ways, and we'll see who comes out with the winner. But I think this is a worthwhile head-to-head. I do. I am sure.
Okay, let's do it.
I get my record going head to head against you, but I think that this is a good spot.
Let's lock it in.
Confidently take that approach. Look, the last head to head, what do we have? Like Sunderland, Crystal Palace, and that week Oliver Glasner said he wasn't coming back, and then Mark Gay was promptly. So as long as disaster doesn't strike after the recording of this podcast between
you
now
should
and
have known all those things
were
going to happen. To be fair,
oh yeah,
you should have foreseen all that. That's what
the Oracle. The Oracle.
Exactly.
Gareth Wheeler.
And I'm telling you, Iraola's going to leave Bournemouth before this game, and you're going to be saying the same thing. So.
This is football. It could happen. It could. Honestly, it wouldn't. Nothing would surprise me. All right. Anything else in the Prem?
Yes. Palace on the handicap against Brighton.
Yeah, we're aligned there. All right.
Yeah. Minus 116. I just think Brighton are just not at it. I mean, everyone's talking about Palace being out of form. Palace have won 1 in 10. Well, so have Brighton, just 1 win in 10. And I mentioned about recent head-to-heads between managers and how Unai Emery has Iraola's number. Yeah, Glasner definitely has Herzler's number as well. The Palace are unbeaten in the last 3 versus Brighton. The last time they went to the Amex, I think they won 3-1. Something like that. So I think this is a good spot for Palace to get back and on the winning track. But we don't even need them to here because we're getting half a goal. So another draw will be fine.
Yep. Sar's back in the team.
He looks good.
He looks very much the part. Johnson, Pino, those are interesting players. Strand Larson, I think that's an astute pickup. I think that playing for Palace will be a lot better for him than playing and struggling in the Wolves side that he did. Munoz is back in the team. Wharton's back from suspension. He missed last week. He should be fresh as well. It's a good spot. And that number is being bought. So get on Palace while you can. It's being pushed out to minus 122. Just one other game I want to mention quickly. It's a big old handicap. It's a big old spread. Arsenal against Sunderland. A goal in 3 quarters. I mean, Sunderland have been a really good team. We've documented them many times on this podcast, how sometimes the underlying numbers doesn't reflect what this team is all about. They're a big physical team, well-versed, well-coached. And I think that number is just too high. Arsenal might very well go on and win this game, but Saka's out through injury. I don't think he's coming back. They were unable to place Moreno as well. So we'll see if players like Havertz and Eze, who have been touch and go just in terms of their effectiveness with Arteta, whether that will make a difference. I think Sunderland are decent enough at defending set pieces as well, which is Arsenal's modus operandi. That's a huge number for me. Plus a goal in 3 quarters. You can back Sunderland at minus 116, and that's what I'll be doing.
Brave man. Sunderland, they are not very good
or
travelers.
Go home. So,
or go Vegas.
Yes, or go Vegas, which I will. All right, that's it from the Premier League. I don't love the La Liga slate, but perhaps there's something that's caught your eye.
Yes, I'm just flicking through Pinnacle now to make sure the price is the same, given all the price moves. But it's Barcelona against Mallorca.
Yeah.
And it's Barca win to 0 that was looking it's the same price, plus 117. I think that's a very, very smart play. A good way to get Barca on side. I mean, Barca have won all 10 of the home matches so far this season. They've conceded just 5 goals in those 10 games, which is very un-Barca like. I mean, we're used to seeing them concede multiple times. This bet would have won in half of those 10 matches. And Mallorca are a miserable travelling team. 1 win, 2 draws, 8 away, 8 defeats, and they've scored just 10 times in those 11 games. And I think this is just going to be one-way traffic in a case of how many will Barca win by. So I was tempted by the Wheeler special, just to see if that was a potential. But I just think win to 0. Yeah, you're taking that.
That's my only play I love in La Liga for those reasons. Like, by the way, Barcelona's barely played any home fixtures domestically, like in league play. Their last game was against Oviedo. That was January 25th. But before that, like away. was their last league game at home before that? It was all the way back on December 13th, another clean sheet against Osasuna. So, yeah, Mallorca, poor away team. Barcelona, better than you'd expect. I know they played a League Cup tie earlier this week. There was some rotation in the team in the Copa del Rey against a lower division team. None of that bothers me. It's Wheeler special. Both teams have scored no. And over 2.5 at plus 237. Let's go. The only other match I want to mention in Spain this weekend, Alaves, Getafe, one of those good old spreads of 1.5 in terms of the total. Is it a blind overplay at this point, Alaves, Getafe, or do you just completely swerve that?
That's a good question.
1.5.
I know. Alaves did us a solid as well last week. I backed them. I think the total was over 2 when they played at Espanyol, and they finished 2-1. But yeah, if you just look at the goals data, these two are the two teams at the bottom of La Liga. Over 1.5 goals has landed in 13 of Alaves' 22 and 14 of Getafe's 22. So strike rate wise, it is positive, and Alaves have seen a lot more goals recently. This bet would have won in 4 of the last 5. He's probably just worth taking, to be fair. Just
That's what I was thinking.
Just as such a low total, and I know it's not exactly. It's just so congested at the bottom as well. Everyone's taking points off each other. So Alaves are 10th, Getafe are 17th, but there's just 2 points between them. So he's actually a bit like a relegation 6-pointer, despite there being like 8 places between them or whatever. So. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see this. You see at least 2 goals here. I mean, Getafe are going to have to start going for it at some point. You'd have to think. I mean, they're going to get dragged right into the mire.
Yep, that's my thinking. Minus 122. It's almost just kind of the blind play piece. You're betting the number, right?
Yes.
This is football after all. Okay. Serie A this weekend. Again, a light board just in terms of what piques my interest. What do you see? What's catching your eye?
Just the one bet for me, and again, it's a low goal total in Genoa versus Napoli at minus 108, which I can't really get my head around. Genoa, I've discussed them plenty of times on this show about since basically before and after Patrick Vieira, just how their approach has changed. They've been more expansive. The games have spiked in terms of goals. And 15 games since Vieira was sacked. This is league games, and they've averaged 3.2 goals per game. But yet the line's set here at 2, which I don't really understand. And if you'd have backed this blindly over those 15 games, you would have won 11 times. You would have lost just twice. So you'd be in really healthy profit at same line, same price. And Napoli's games have started seeing more goals as well. I mean, their last 8 matches have averaged 2.75 goals. And this bet has won in 5 of those 8 as well. So, I'm not really understanding why the line is at flat 2. I mean, 2.25 I could probably understand, but I mean, any Genoa game at the minute, the line should be set at 2.5. Just in the way in which they're going about things. So this is definitely making my board. It might even be more than one unit when all said and done. Over 2 goals at minus 108.
I'm also, this was a game that I was interested in, but I was interested in backing the home side. I like backing Genoa in this game at home. They've been a good home side over recent weeks. They beat Bologna, putting 3 past them, which goes into just in terms of how they've been scoring goals. Put 3 past Cagliari as well. When was the last time they lost a home match? I think it was against Inter in the beginning of December. Atalanta was the last one. I think it was.
Yeah, they had a man sent off. The keeper sent off.
Oh,
that was the last one.
Okay. Oh, that was the Coppa Italia. Yeah, Inter and they've gone on a decent run at home. I still really worry about Napoli's injuries. Like their injury list, these are the players that remain out. Di Lorenzo, Neres, Romani might come back this weekend, and Guisa and Gilmore. Gilmore's been playing a lot of football. He's out this week. Mazzocchi, De Bruyne, Politano. It's just a lengthy list. They've been playing Elmes on the left side of attack. It's a lot of injuries going away against a decent enough side in a spot where you get half a goal in the handicap backing Genoa here. I think it's a really good spot for them at minus 109. I will be making that play. And that match might be making my board as well. The other game that caught my eye, is the total in Juventus and Lazio. The total set at 2.25, but I back the under at -104. Lazio just doesn't concede or score goals in away fixtures. Just 5 goals scored on the season away from home and 7 goals conceded. This is a Juventus side that will try to play controlled football against them. Yildiz is out through injury as well. I just think that Lazio just doesn't give away much. They're not a very good team to begin with. Their home games, there's a lot more chances created, but away from home, they park the proverbial bus. So I like under the total of 2.25 in that one for Juventus Lazio. Anything else in Serie A for you? To Germany we go, and there is a marquee fixture in Germany on Super Bowl Sunday. It's Bayern Munich and Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim has raced up the table. They're in second place, and Bayern Munich coming off another disappointing result last week is all of a sudden this Bayern Munich team looks like they are absolutely human, yet they are huge favorites by a goal in 3/4 over Hoffenheim as well. Now the data suggests that Hoffenheim just have been overachieving just in terms of their away travels, but Bayern Munich's current form just leaves much to be desired, especially in terms of what they're giving up defensively. Away last week, 2-2 draw against Hamburg and didn't look very good in the process. Lost to Augsburg 2-1 at home the week before. It looks like there's a little bit of a soft underbelly in this Bayern Munich side, especially pertaining to weakness at the fullback positions. There's been so much rotation based upon injury and absence. Even the center back, it seems like companies shuffling the deck every week where they just can't build any fluidity, and teams play them so defensively that they leave themselves wide open on the counterattack more times than not. The total for this game, it's relevant. Any Bayern Munich game is set at 4. How are you looking at this game this weekend? Do Hoffenheim have a puncher's chance? And could the title race actually be on in the Bundesliga?
Yeah, if Hoffenheim got a result, it would be nice to see a little bit of a title race. I don't expect that to be the case, though. I think Bayern Munich will win, but I don't think they'll have everything their own way. I know we've backed the Wheel of Special a lot in Bayern home games. We've backed Bayern to cover handicaps, but I think Bayern winning both teams to score is the way to play this one. I think Hoffenheim have goals in them. They've shown that all season. And we're getting plus 122, which I think is a fairly nice number about a team that are minus 369 just to win the game, to win while also conceding, which is something that they've done, well, a fair bit recently, especially at home. I mean, conceded twice to Augsburg in defeat. Wolfsburg scored 1, Mainz scored 2, St. Pauli scored 1, Freiburg scored 2. So everyone who's going there at the moment fancies the chances of getting a goal. And the way Hoffenheim are going about their business, yeah, it's hard to see them not scoring, really. So home win and both teams to score for me.
Isn't it completely disrespectful that Hoffenheim is pushed way out to what is it, plus 751 to win this game? Like, don't you just want to have a nibble on that? Or the fact that Bayern Munich is at an actual week off and it seems like everyone, no one's dealing with illness. Like, plus 751 is a ridiculous number for the third place team in the Bundesliga, taking on the team that's top of the table who have gone through a little bit of a rough patch. You know, I'm not going to make that an official play, but I think I'm going to take a nibble on Hoffenheim this weekend, and I'm definitely going to be playing them on the handicap at plus a goal in 3/4 at plus 103. I think it's completely disrespectful, and it really doesn't take into account how well that Hoffenheim have been playing as of late. As for the rest of the Bundesliga slate, I quite like it this weekend, so we'll try to get through this quickly so we can then talk Super Bowl really quick. It's going to be a longer podcast, fair warning here this week. But what else in the Bundesliga do you like?
Quite simply, just Freiburg to beat Werder Bremen. Can't really understand the number. You're getting minus 110 on the half a goal and the handicap. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense to me. We keep backing Freiburg when they play at home and they keep winning. So let's just keep doing that because they're unbeaten in 13 all competitions at home. They've won 9 times in that period. And they're playing against a Bremen team that have not won in 8 away league games and lost 5 of those. And they've actually failed to score in 5 of 8 as well. So Anybody who wants to boost the price slightly, you can take Freiburg win to nil at plus 254, but I'll just be keeping it nice and simple and backing them to win.
Same thing. This one's making my board. Bremen, by the way, the worst team from a data perspective away from home in the Bundesliga this season. Really good spot. Freiburg at home, a place where they love to play. Also, any Eintracht Frankfurt match where the total is set at 2.5, I think it's an overplay. They take on Union Berlin on Friday. Let's take over 2.5 at minus 105. Union Berlin doesn't score a ton of goals, but at home it's a decent enough spot against a side that concedes goals for fun. They are just dreadful defensively, are Eintracht Frankfurt. So over 2.5 at minus 105. Very quickly, slight leans to Stuttgart to win away at minus 117 against St. Pauli. I like Mainz at home to beat Augsburg. They've found some good form as of late at plus 107. And RB Leipzig, I mean, they haven't been a good away side, but they're taking on Cologne, and they need to be able to bounce back. Baumgartner comes back into the team. He's been their best player on the season. They really missed him last week, and what turned out to be an embarrassing loss for them. For them to maintain like a potential top 4 spot, this is a must-win spot for them. So plus 114 away at Cologne. So that's the board this week. Let's deal with our best bets now, and then we'll pivot very quickly to our Super Bowl picks and plays. We have 5 units to play with, up to 5 bets to make. Jake has teased what some of his picks may be. The floor is yours, Jake Osgathorpe.
So I'm going to go for 4 bets all across Europe. Nothing in the Prem that's making my board. I'm doing 1.5 units on over 2 goals in Genoa versus Napoli, minus 108. 1.5 units Freiburg to beat Werder at minus 110. A unit on Bayern to win and both teams to score at plus 122, and a unit on Barca win to nil at plus 117.
Okay, 5 plays, a unit each. Leeds United plus 123 to beat Nottingham Forest. Fulham at home against Everton to win outright at plus 114. The Wheeler special in Barcelona, Mallorca, both teams to score no, plus over 2.5 at a big old number of plus 237. Let's also back the over Union Berlin and Frankfurt over 2.5 at minus 105. And just like Jake, Freiburg to win at home minus 114. So rolling with the home sides, some real good value on the board this week. Really like the slate. Let's hope these best bets come through. All right, Super Bowl time. It is the Seahawks. It is the Patriots. Super Bowl Sunday. Jake, if you're not familiar, is a little bit of a guru when it comes to the National Football League. So the total has shifted out on Pinnacle to 5, all the way out to 5. I'm personally surprised by this, but I'll let you explain first. What's the total? Is it at 45.5? I just need to bring this up.
It's flat 45 now.
Flat 45. Okay, so what are you looking at in terms of the Super Bowl?
Well, I made a pro Seahawks play when the line was about plus 3.5, plus 4. 4. I think it's too big now at 5. Personally, I think the value might be with New England. It's going to be a very low scoring Super Bowl, so I'm going to be taking the under 45 at plus 100. You've got 2 defensive gurus on either side, Vrabel and McDonald. I think they're going to cancel out whatever the guys are trying to do on offense. So I think it's going to be quite a low scoring. I potentially even look at taking a lower line as well and really chancing it. Maybe take under 35.5 at plus 312, and just hope that it really is a 17-10 kind of game, which would not be a surprise at all. But yeah, I think Seahawks are going to come out on top personally. I think they've got too many studs in their defense. That's going to cause Drake May all sorts of problems.
Maybe. I've made an opposite play, and I'm the guy that loved betting against the Patriots when Tom Brady was under center. But I'm going to be making a pro-Patriots play here. I honestly thought when the line, the opening line was going to be Seahawks minus 3. So when I saw 4.5, I thought there was going to be value. I'm a little bit surprised that the sentiment is so pro Seattle, because the knock on the Patriots is being their strength of schedule. They haven't played anyone. I've heard all of these excuses and things every step of the way. I go back through the Seattle Seahawks schedule, and oftentimes when they would play decent teams like the Indianapolis Colts, they didn't have the regular quarterback playing. They beat Brock Purdy and a bunch of misfits with the 49ers who punched above their weight because everyone was hurt in the playoffs. I don't think that the Seahawks have done that much to warrant this kind of respect. I mean, they beat the Rams at home in a game where if Sean McVay had gone for a 2-point conversion earlier, he could have kicked a field goal twice, one of two times, and gone on to win that game away outright to punch their ticket to the Super Bowl. I thought it was horribly managed by McVay in that moment. And to look at Drake May, I mean, the knock has been on his most recent performances. I don't think he's a cold weather quarterback. They have dealt with some brutal weather in recent weeks at Foxborough. It's been horrible because earlier in the season, he was an MVP candidate when he was lighting up when decent enough weather. And guess what? The conditions are mitigated. The fact that this game is going to be played in San Francisco and the fact that all they had to do against the Chargers and the Texans and the Broncos was manage the game. Just essentially not screw up. They got up early in all those games. The Patriots in Vrabel took zero risks whatsoever, and they just managed the games. I mean, Texans are an elite defense, and they did fine just controlling the game against them. Broncos, it was a snowstorm. They had a backup quarterback. I throw that game completely out the window. So I do think there's some value, especially at the number of 5 to back the Patriots in this game. I'm fine with that whatsoever. And I think what the Patriots have, 2 good running backs, 2 good tight ends who are reliable, and some different kind of receiving options as well, including players that can like in Butte that can stretch the field a little bit, and that's where the Seahawks are inevitably a little bit vulnerable. So I'll make a pro Patriots play in this game, and I'm going to back some Drake May numbers as well. I just think he's being look, no disrespect to the Seahawks defense. I just think that there's some value in backing a quarterback who was outstanding in MVP contention, and all of a sudden the mentality is completely switched in games where I really think it's been about the Patriots not losing rather than Drake May being forced to go in and win it. So that's my take. This isn't going to be an official head-to-head, is it?
It could well be. Yeah, let's make it 2.
So I've heard so much pro Seahawks talk. I consider myself a little bit of a contrarian when it comes to life in general, but this one I have no problem, especially when I'm getting juiced. I wouldn't bet the Patriots as a favorite. Even the outright number plus 197 in a game where I think it should be closer than the markets are determining. I'll probably have a nibble on the outright. But yeah, that's kind of my feeling heading into the Super Bowl. So any props you want to throw out? Anything else when it comes to this game that's caught your eye?
I was just going to look at, it's not priced up yet, but Drake May to fumble at least once in the game. I think that's got a good chance because the Seahawks interior line is very, very strong. And I think he's already fumbled 6 times in the playoffs. I know the cold weather does factor into that a little bit, but it's the biggest spot of his career. And I know it's the same for Darnold, but Darnold's at least got a few more years of experience in the NFL under his belt compared to Drake May. So yeah, probably looking at that when it's priced up. But yeah, I just think the Seahawks are the most well-rounded team. I think they're managed very, very, very shrewdly as well. Don't take too many risks, and they can beat you in loads of different ways. So yeah, I'm more than happy to make this a head-to-head if you like. Make it 2 for the show.
Okay, well, let's just do it on the 5 on the spread.
I don't know if I want the 5 because I could see them winning quite like a.
That's what the markets on Pinnacle show. That's what the markets show. So, yeah, I'm not. Come on, what am I?
We're not doing straight
not yesterday.
That's not right. Yeah.
I like, but the thing I like field goal props. I think, like Jake, it could end up being a little bit more low scoring than what the total might indicate. I think that both kickers are good, reliable. They might call for a little bit of rain, but I don't think that will affect either kicker in this game. So I like some field goal props. I'll be taking some nibbles this weekend as well. All right, that's all for us. Pinnacle episode 78 is in the books with a look at football and American football. Best of luck this weekend, Jake, and thank you for tuning in. On behalf of Jake and everyone at Pinnacle, I am Gareth Wheeler, and this has been Pinnacle FC.